So over the past 2 years, I've spent over $75,000 on courses, consultants, programs, learning how to run ads for local service-based businesses. And I'm about to share all the best practices I can take away, the ones that were good, the ones that sucked, and I can distill them to you and hopefully get some value from it so you can become the best known in your local city as a local business. Now, this is not for anybody who's not selling anything high ticket. If you're selling 50 bucks a day, like a pest control or something, and you don't collect more cash up front, this is not going to work. Ads are not your best bet. But if you can pull that cash up front, maybe sell yearly packages, or your average AOV or LTV is $1,000 or more, ads are a great way to scale profitably as long as you have a sales process in place. So without further ado, I'm going to share why your ads might not be working as well in 2026 as they would be in 2023 or back in the day, what's changed and how to fix it. Let's dive in. Now, number one are creatives. And when someone says creatives, your ad creatives, it just basically means, do you have good ads or bad ads? It's just another name for ads. Okay, now the best practices with ad creatives are having multiple formats. So what do I mean by that? There's different types of formats of ads you can run. When you run an ad, it could be a talking head style. It could be a static ad. It could be a selfie video. It could be a AI ad. It could be a carousel. There's a ton of different ad types that you can run. And the problem is people only pick one. So they'll only try one talking head. But what happens is if we have a market right here, and this is the market that you're going after, this is your ICP, this is your ideal customer profile. Your ads might only resonate with this little slice of the market right here, if it's a talking head ad. But with your other side of the market, let's say, you're going after homeowners. This section of homeowners likes talking head ads, but this section of the homeowners like still images. So what Meta wants, especially 2026 with Andromeda's new update and everything, is they basically want creative diversity. So what does that mean? It basically means that you want to make sure you have different types of formats as ads. You're not just banking it all on one. So if we have this as talking head ads, this is static ads, maybe over here this is AI UGC ads, which is AI user generated content ads. And then over here, maybe it's a selfie style ad. Okay. So you're filling up this pie and you're having different types of formats. Now, right now, specifically what's working best is selfie style. Selfie style is crushing, and talking head, like talking direct to camera, it builds the most amount of trust. We do mix in a few static ads for our clients because Meta does want creative diversity. It doesn't just want, video ads. But video ads do tend to perform better overall and build more trust. So when it comes to ad creatives, also just a pro tip I really want to highlight to get better ads and have them perform better is humor. When you make your ads funny, they're going to convert a lot higher, especially in a B2C space. So that means being funny, trying jokes, hitting an ad angle, which, by the way, is a type of pain point that you're going after. So same thing for like formats. Let me just dive in a little deeper here. When we talk about ad angles are different pain points. So when someone sees an ad, no one's going to buy your service unless you're solving a problem for them. But not every single one of your customers has the same problem or resonate with the same problem. So we want to test different ad angles, different pain points to make sure we're hitting all the buckets. So same thing up here with the content where it's like this section, this section, this section. We want to have one pain point right here. We want to have another pain point right here. We want to have another one right here. And so we're filling up the pie. So we're not only testing formats, but we're testing ad angles. And then when you mix humor in there, and this could be its own ad angle because some people love to laugh. A lot of people like to laugh. It brings people together, right? When you can make someone laugh, it makes them trust you more. It's just scientifically proven, especially in a B2C market. If I make funny ads, people aren't going to take me as serious. They're going to be like, oh, who's this clown? I'm not letting him run my ads, right? But if it's a B2C and you're selling to the average homeowner, the average everyday consumer, make it funny. Why not? People love to laugh, right? So step one are better ad creatives. Now, step two I want to go over is campaign structure. So when you set up ads, you have your campaign, and then you have your ad sets, and then you have your ads. Now, when you set up a campaign for your Facebook ads, you want one campaign that's optimized for leads. So I'm going to say C is leads. Ad set. I like to break this down into one ad set. I make two ad sets if they're different. If the spend is above $100 a day, then I make two ad sets. Like one ad set with $50, the other ad set with $50. So in the $50, we'll go towards like one ad set is going to be detailed targeting. So like specific interests in your city, and the other one is going to be broad targeting. Now with Meta's AI, broad tends to perform better. So if I only have $50 a day to spend, I'm going to pick broad, and I'm going to turn Advantage Plus on and let Meta go after what it wants as long as it's in my specific radius that I set up. But we do like to test some interest in there. Maybe even a lookalike audience of customers, your customer list of people who've bought your service in the past. And so we do that in our detailed targeting ad set. Now in each ad set too, what you need to do is not just have ad level. The problem is a lot of people just have one ad, and you do not want this, because if you just have one or two ads and that's it, you're only getting one or two shots on goal. But you have to look at ads as you're throwing up a few basketballs from the 3-point line. You're not going to make every single one. You want to put up as many as you can without diluting that specific ad set. Because not if you make 30 ads for a local business, unless you're spending $1,000 a day, odds are your spend is going to be too spread across. It's not going to give each ad a fair shot. But if you're spending $50 a day, $100 a day, 4 to 6 ads are the sweet spot. So we like 4 to 6 ads, and then we mix them up with these different formats, right? Let's say a static ad, a selfie video, maybe some humor in there. And this is enough under one ad set. Now, if you are running $100 a day, so let's go $100 a day or more, plus a day, then what we do is we do 2 ad sets, like I talked about. My handwriting is terrible. With the same ads. And then after 1 week of letting it spend, we see which ads are crushing it and which ads aren't. Now, the ones that aren't, we turn them off. But ideally, we want to let it spend at least 3 times its cost per lead, or the expected cost per lead that you're okay paying, before shutting it off. That's my rule of thumb. Sometimes people say 4, sometimes people say 2. I like 3 before I shut it off, and I say, we're not spending any more money on this ad. Now, with this specific style of structure, we're optimizing for what is called a lead form, an instant form campaign. Okay, and this is in app, so you're not driving traffic from people on Meta or Instagram or Facebook to your website to submit their lead. Yes, you might get some higher quality leads like that, and you will on average, but it doesn't necessarily make up for the amount of volume that you're going to get by keeping them in the app and then driving them to your website, or then driving them to book a call. So ideally, we've seen the best performance with instant forms inside the actual ad platform. So that way you're not driving the user off platform, which Meta does not really like. Now, the pro tip for this section is having qualifying questions. I like 2 at least, 2 of them, and using conditional logic in those questions. And so what happens with conditional logic is, let's say the question is, are you a homeowner? And it's yes or no. If your lead selects no right here, it takes them to an end screen over here for non-qualified people. And they do not hit your pixel on the back end, the internal meta pixel that they use for tracking going after new leads. But if they select yes, then it goes to the next question, which is, how soon are you wanting to get this fixed? Or how soon are you wanting to get this service done? Or another qualifying question of some sort. I would recommend asking a budget question down the road, but not to start your campaigns, because it adds too much friction. But let's just say this is Q number 2. And once again, if it's no, let's say no is unqualified, then what? And then you have yes over here. If it's no, then it takes them here to the non-qualified ending page. But if it's yes, then it takes them to the good qualified end page. And that way, people who hit this page, it trains your pixel and Facebook goes after them more over time. So ads will only get better as you spend more, as long as you're training your pixel and you create creatives. So you're not just using the same creative over and over again. And when it comes to creatives, I recommend making sure your frequency is a rule of thumb, which means the number of times one person has seen your ad to not go above 3. That's kind of my rule of thumb. If your creatives, if your frequency shoots above 3% or 3 overall, then if it's above 3, then kill the ad unless it's wildly profitable for you, right? I'm not saying don't kill an ad campaign that's crushing just because your frequency is above 3. But if you're kind of unsure, just make more creatives, make more ads, and add them into that same ad set, so that way you can kill the ads that have a 3 or above frequency score. So this is my rule of thumb for this. Now, on the last section, we're going to talk about speed to lead, and particularly systems in general. So systems in place to be notified. Now, what does this mean? We need to have something like GHL, Go High Level, or Zapier in place to automatically notify you or your team when a new lead comes in. I've worked with clients before who've come to me and I check out their ad account, they're running ads, they're like, oh yeah, Facebook ads don't work. And they're just calling, they're downloading the CSV spreadsheet at the end of every day and they're calling all their leads at 6 o'clock at night after the job or after they're done working. And none of them pick up and they're like, oh, these, this doesn't work. I'm just going to shut it off. We need to have a system in place with automatic follow-up or an internal notification as far as an email or an SMS blast to you or your team, letting you know, excuse me, letting you know the second an ad or a lead comes in. So for our clients, we use a white labeled version of Go High Level called Pluto OS. It's our operating system. It has our snapshot in there with all of our automated nurture sequences that we give and install under our clients' businesses so that they don't have to manually reach out to them. But instead, they get a phone call right away so that their phone is constantly buzzing. They press 1 and then it automatically connects them with the lead. So having some type of system, and Zapier is good if you just want like a quick email, but I recommend having an actual system where you can track your leads, you know what stage they're at in the pipeline. It's not just free balling it and, oh, ads are working or I think they're working. We got to know what's your average order value, what's your lifetime value per client, and then be able to track, okay, this lead is worth this much. I need to call them twice a day for at least 7 days, double dial, because the first one might go to, do not disturb. And I mean, you think about it. These guys took the time out of their day to watch your ad, tap on it, go to your profile and press follow, and then you talk to them in the DMs, or that's our brand ad strategy, or they tap your ad, they go to a few qualifying questions, they tap each one of those, then they type in their name, email, phone number, click submit. That is a level of interest. So never feel like you're bugging your leads the second you're calling them, because they raised their hand. This is not cold calling. This is not door knocking. They raised their hand. Rose isn't a word, I don't think. And said, hey, please contact me. And so we got to follow up with these people. We got to squeeze as much juice as possible out of all these ads and leads, because we're paying for them at the end of the day, right? That's the whole reason that Facebook and Instagram are still in business, is because people pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars to run ads. And so, yes, you can get there off of referrals and word of mouth eventually over a long period of time, but ads speed up the process because people are addicted to this thing. For 8 hours a day, we want to be a producer and not a consumer and be where the attention is. And so Google's great. Obviously, it has intent. People are actively searching for your service, but you're not building any type of brand whatsoever long-term or moat around your business, which is why I love Meta specifically and why we got really good at it. And so this is me spending 75 grand on other coaching programs and another 75 grand on my own ads, not including our clients' ad spend or their ad accounts. So I hope this video was overall helpful. These are the 3 things I would focus on as creatives: campaign structure, and then speed to lead. If you dial all 3 of these, you will see a way better result from your ads, and you'll be able to scale more profitably. And when I talk about scale, I'm saying let's spend 20% more every week. Because why not? Unless you don't have the team on the back end to be able to fulfill on that. And so if you don't have someone in place to call your leads, obviously make sure your sales process and you're able to overcome objections first. And instead of just let me think about it, or you get the random tire kicker who's like, yeah, I just, I don't remember filling this out. Like, of course it's going to happen. It's okay. There's people out there like that. But when you charge a high enough price, it makes up for all the dirty dust leads that you will get, or that limit it first off through the qualifying questions. You still will have some sneak through. That's just how it is. But when you follow these best practices, you're most likely to get the best result, period. So I hope this made sense. If you have any questions, please drop a comment. Maybe you want me to create a new video on talking about Meta versus Google, or some more best practices as far as ad creatives go, or dive a little deeper on one of these three. Happy to do so. If you would like us to run your ads for you or teach you the details on how to actually set this up, then you can click the link down in the description below to book a call with myself, where I'll personally walk you through a game plan custom for your business. You can take it, run with it. If you love it, awesome. If not, we'll point you in a different direction. So thank you again, and I'll see you in the next vid.